Business Time, Rotus Time.
Yes, good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Doctor. Good morning to all our viewers out there. I think we're going to kick off with either oil or Tata Technologies. Their stock had a big debut on, no, it's COP28, there we go. So COP28 still aligned with oil. COP28 kicks off today in Dubai. This is, of course, the climate conference. They're all going to be talking about the climate. You know there's going to be discussions around the renewable energy transition, and there's going to be discussion around the oil market. So, you know, yesterday, or was it the day before, we talked about OPEC Secretary General saying that the International Energy Agency has been, quote unquote, unjustly vilifying them. Speaking of oil, OPEC Plus will be meeting today online. They initially pushed that meeting back because of issues with Angola, Nigeria, and a number of other players who did not want to cut their outputs. We saw Nigeria's budget presentation yesterday, where it was upwardly revised, the benchmark price for oil from $73 a barrel to $77.96. So Nigeria needs every drop of oil she can squeeze. Q3 2023 oil production for Nigeria, 1.45 million barrels per day, higher than the 1.2 we saw in the second quarter, but way down from the 2 million barrels per day we were doing in the first quarter of 2020. So it makes sense that in Nigeria and Angola, other emerging markets will be pushing back against OPEC and saying, no, we cannot cut our production. We need all the money we can get. So it's going to be interesting to see the outcome of that meeting later today. By the way, they shifted online because COP27 is also taking place, and they're saying that they have to shuffle between both places. Also, I believe, okay, so do we have Tata? Okay, no, well, US government, US revised GDP for the third quarter. It came in stronger than expected. So second revision, 5.2%. Prior estimate was 4.9%. It even beats economists' forecast of 5%. They're seeing more business investment, lower unemployment. 2024 is just going to be such a big year with, I think it's going to be a Biden-Trump Part 2 showdown. Also in the UK, Sunak and his friend, Mr. Sterner, with elections going on there. Starmer, yes. Okay, so there it is. Yes, there's Tata Technologies, part of the conglomerates. First debut of IPO in about 2 decades, 160, well, it was 140% debut, but jumping to 165. Oversubscribed. This is still the India story. This is still following what we talked about, Foxconn investing 1.5 billion. This is still what we talked about, other companies looking at the growth prospects in India. So Tata Technologies blasting off 140% spike, but you saw that. I took that when I was looking at the NSE, that's the India's National Stock Exchange, 165%. $360 million raise. It's another part of the growth story for India. I think we're going to go now to the New York Times Deal Book Conference. Elon Musk dropping F-bombs and lashing out at advertisers. Remember that he liked or responded positively to an anti-Semitic comment about Jewish people online. There was a big backlash. So the New York Times Deal Book Summit, they spoke to him, they spoke to Bob Iger at Disney, Vice President Harris, a whole number of people. Here's what he said.
You hope don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
But
go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
How do you think then about the economics of X? If part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift, maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising. If you believe that this is the one part of your business where you will be beholden to those who have this view, what do you do?
F-Y.
I understand that, but there's a reality too, right?
Yes. No.
I mean, Linda Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, totally. So, no. Actually, what this advertising boycott is going to do, it's going to kill the company.
And do you think that
and the whole world will know that those advertisers killed the company, and we will document it in great detail.
But those advertisers, I imagine, are going to say, we didn't kill the company.
Oh yeah?
They're going to say,
tell it to Earth.
But they're going to say, Elon, that you killed the company because you said these things, and that they were inappropriate things, and that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform, right? That's what they're going to say.
And let's see how Earth responds to that.
So this goes back to
We'll both make our cases,
right,
and we'll see what the outcome is. Of all the posts I've done on the platform, I think there might be 30,000 or something like that.
Right.
Once in a while, I will say something foolish, and I have. And I would certainly put that comment, that you said the actual truth, among perhaps one of the most foolish, if not the most foolish thing I've ever done on the platform. I mean, look, I'm sorry for that tweet or post. It was foolish of me. Of the 30,000, it might be literally the worst and dumbest post that I've ever done.
So he starts off telling them to go F themselves, and he apologizes for the post. His CEO, Linda Yaccarino, is putting her in a big, tight band.
That's what he's always done.
Yeah. Bob Iger also speaking at the Deal Book Summit. Bob Iger admitting that Disney's film division has been struggling. He first of all said that the strategy to push Disney Plus, the streaming platform, essentially gave people an option to not have to go to the movies. If you jump ahead and look at some of the hits and the misses that they've had between box office hits and box office disappointments, they haven't had $1 billion box office movie since 2019. So they've really struggled. So he admitted that in terms of their hits and their misses. And then coming to Africa, the African Development Bank has essentially downgraded its outlook for economic growth for the region, its short-term, medium-term outlook. So it's now 3.4% from 4% for 2023. It was 4.3% in 2024. They've come down to 3.8% because of economic shocks. They're still saying that geopolitical shocks and the ability to raise capital is an issue for these African nations. And then finally, the NNPC is going to be giving us some updates on the Port Harcourt refinery. We're going to be getting, in terms of the promise of outputs to be coming out from them, we're going to be getting some regular updates, data-driven. You know, Rufai, you know you love your empirical data. So we'll be looking forward to seeing that.
Tomorrow, let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo and Binance and $1 billion lawsuit. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
There's a new CEO as well.
We're going to run.